All right. Well, welcome to LATR or Life After Truth Radio, the YouTube section here. I would like to down the line get a website rolling, but for now, yeah, this is just the introduction to what I'm trying to do here. And pardon the noise. There might be some wind rustling the tarp on top of the RV here because that is the lifestyle I live. That actually is a big part of why I'm starting LATR and what the meaning of that is. Because I think there's a lot of truths that people gather from the world around them and not from their own lives and inspirations. And it's hard. It's hard when you have businesses to run and families to feed and houses to pay mortgages on, and you don't really have a whole lot of time to discover what really is the truth to you and what life, a meaningful life, would look like. So yeah, that's when I finally had the chance to move out of the traditional model and get away from paying rent and struggling to make enough each month to make ends meet. I just saw how much of myself was really getting left behind, and it really pushed me through COVID to save up the money and risk it for the biscuit, man, because it was scary. First time I've spent that much money all at once, and first time I had help from an investor, right, in my freedom to pay the 40% of this thing that I couldn't pay outright. And I'm just so grateful for him and the opportunity to do that. Interest free, you just meet good people when you try your best to be good people, I feel. So yeah, I'm just very grateful to have had that, and it's what started this whole journey. So I live in a 73 Chevy Sports Coach. It's a 50-year-old rig that was taken very good care of and was living indoors for most of its life. Had an old lady whose son-in-law was a mechanic, and so she would only ever put maybe 1,000 miles on it each season, and then he would have it all cleaned up and tuned up by the end of the year, and it was wrapped away and never really had to see much of the elements, maybe like it is now. I think she's probably got a new lease on life at 50 years old, this retro rig of mine. So, yeah, so again, pardon any of the noise disruptions. Oh, is he coming back? I actually postponed doing this for maybe 15, 20 minutes because someone was driving down the country road here, the big old gravel truck, and it just was so loud. And he's dropping off his gravel to the California neighbors that everyone in the neighborhood is a bit perturbed with. So it was funny. I have my own little angle of annoyance there. So yes. Anyway, I wound up living up north here in the wonderful state of Montana. Don't move here. I can't afford it anymore. I wanted to be here a little more permanently, but just couldn't. I couldn't afford it. And so the rig ended up being a lifesaver, and this is the way I can afford to be here and enjoy this wonderful country without having to, work and fight tooth and nail to afford the rent that has just got jacked up because everyone can make money off short-term rentals and property prices are getting driven up, so the rent prices match. And anyway, I don't need to get too far into that. Point is, I live here during the warm seasons, and then I move south as it gets too chilly. I stayed here through October last season, and it was cold, very cold. Not all the systems in the rig are up and running yet. It's very functional, but just some of it, just requires more maintenance than is worth when I'm just living in it, temporarily through the year, maybe the longer, the longer part of 4 or 5 months. So anyway, yeah, that's what's kind of led me to be able to do this, to even have the time to work on what a life after truth looked like. And for me, it meant having more time to create things, to make art, to capture the travel and really take into consideration what it meant for me to travel. Because as a young man, I think it was just getting away. I just needed to get out and have some sort of real life exposure. And so as I've grown and as the mission statement has changed, it's it's only been just recently that I've been able to sit with that and think, oh well, what are you traveling to? What's the point? What good does it do to go somewhere new every year and to build up these relations and these communities and then disappear, and go work somewhere else? And I just found that for me, what truth used to be meant getting a good job, going to school, and I was in the USDA as an intern. Got my wildlife ecology associate's equivalent. Didn't actually get an associate's because of just the politics of school, and I could probably fix that. But I was burnt out because I saw that that was the truth that society had built for me, that family had built for me, and it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like my truth. So, yeah, so as I found out my life after truth, I became to really sink into myself and feel more and more comfortable with what I'm doing and realize I don't have to run around every year, new place, new job, new industry, new skill set. I'm grateful for all of those experiences. It's really led me to be who I am today. But as turning 31 last December, I just realized I really want to settle into a community, even if that means I come and go, even if it means I'm not a permanent fixture throughout the year. I am a seasonal fixture, and I have very good networks to draw off of. And yeah, so that's been my experience with this nomadic lifestyle, and I feel I'm a nomad in training because it's not an easy lifestyle, but the hardships that you have to endure to live this grant you a lot of freedom, and this is the most free and fulfilled I've felt my whole life, and I'm very grateful for all of that. So yeah, so as I've had that time to sit with this and learn my new life, I have found that permaculture and foraging have been a very large interest of mine and a big part of where I chose. I was always interested in mushrooms and plants and edible foods coming out here to the huckleberry culture. I had grandparents that would go out and pick, and I just as a kid always thought, I want to pick berries for a living. That doesn't sound like a bad life. And then you get busy, and I never had time to do that, and you don't live in a place where that's possible. You just kind of forget about it. So I found being back up here that it's a big part of why I chose this area was the natural availability of resource. There's food and medicine all around if we just retrain ourselves to find it. So that that was a big part. Just being an outdoor enthusiast naturally led me back to that. I've always liked rock climbing. Recently got into kayaking. Always been a hiker. I've loved to backpack and just get out and go be away from the hustle and bustle. Um, and that led towards the foraging and just my natural trinket collections. I really like minerals and fossils, crystals, gems, all of that. So I do a lot of rock hounding and fossil finding. Starting to get into shed hunting. I really would like to find more antlers, more sheds. That's a pretty cool natural resource to have that has been used for a lot of things in the past, and they just look cool. But On top of all that, being an outdoorsy, natural life kind of guy, I'm also I'm also a nerd. I'm also a tech head, and I really do enjoy sound equipment, and I enjoy my instruments. I'm a multi instrumentalist, and I play piano. I have a nice synthesizer back at home, my mother's home, the family home. I recently bought a guitar and a banjo was gifted to me in that same time. Picking up harmonica and just other little things that I can make sound with. Because as a musician, I just found that I really enjoy all sorts of sound and the technicality of learning those instruments. So that even gets into DJing. That kind of mixes the two together, the technicality of it and the just the music creation. I don't really have to do too much work. Don't be mad at me, DJs. Of course it's work. It's a craft. That's why I say I'm a novice DJ. But I don't have to sit there and fiddle with my own track for months on end to get it perfect the way I want it, which I'm still interested in, but just found that I really do enjoy mixing other people's artwork together and making it a continuous movement. So, so yeah, I will be doing a bit of all of that. I'll share my travel videos and pictures of where I've been. Would like to involve discussions with the people that I've traveled with and met out in the woods or on the side of the lake, and getting into that. I am very spiritually interested. I have a new understanding of what it means to be spiritual, and that's going to play a big part of this. Is just exposing the regular folk to esotericism and to what the ancient mystery schools were doing and what their thoughts were on this experience, because I feel a lot of that has been hidden from us. I feel that we have a lot of truths that have been written for us. And back then, there were people that knew that there were questions that were never going to be answered. There wasn't a truth per se. That's why, to me, a life after truth became very important. I think there are some very unalienable truths out there, but to need them for this lifetime, I think is a setback. I think it's going to be a hang up if you need to have a 100% guarantee on what happens after life or what the point of this life is. I think a lot of that is very subjective, and honestly, who knows what happens after life? We have accounts of people, near death experiences and spiritual occasions. I don't know what I would want to call that. Visitations where people have been told what it is on the other side and what this truly is, this earth of ours. But I think if we get stuck in the weeds about it and fight with each other about who's right about what happens after life, I just think that's it's just a big hang up, and it's going to be moving backwards when really we're all here to have a subjective experience, and it's what is most important to us that is the point in this life. So I've found that reading books and listening to podcasts and alternate opinions and research, that's been very valid for my experience. Picking berries and making syrups to mix with my drinks at the bar, very valuable experience for me. People get out there and they see how hard it is to pick these berries, and they're like, "Oh, you do this for how long?" But I love doing it, and it serves a very natural purpose in my life, and it's reviving my connection with nature, with this earth that we have been gifted. So, yeah, all of that is what I'm going to be trying to do here, is just sharing my thoughts, my experiences. Like I say, I'm nerdy, so I'll probably do some some game streaming. I like playing games when I have time anymore. It's not really a big part of my life, which is why I do enjoy watching streamers. I do enjoy watching folks play the games that I don't have the time to play. And I'll probably do some reactions to some of their reactions because I think just the initial reaction is a little overdone or overplayed, and I find the meta reaction to a reaction video very entertaining, and I'll probably do a bit of that because I think I'm a rather comical man, and I find the humor in things. It's been a big key to my success, and just not taking things too seriously is has been huge. And I see that with the folks that I tin bar to. That is my trade, um, because it plays off of my social abilities and my artistic abilities. And I see that with the folk that I tin bar to, that they find me an entertaining fellow, if not confusing. Maybe they don't totally understand who I am or why I am, but they nonetheless find it entertaining. So I've been told that I should share my thoughts and share my experiences. I am looking out at these mountains right now, and just a wonderful view. I am just now getting to the point where I have a little rig studio here set up where I can feel comfortable making this kind of kind of content. God, I do hate that word, but I do feel like I am in a space now where I can do it. So I'll start to share what it is that I'm seeing and what I'm thinking. And if you're interested in what I do, then I'd love to have you here. I look forward to discussing some things that don't get a whole lot of playtime, and also look forward to sharing some art and creations that have just never seen the light of day. Haven't really had a reason to or a platform to. So, yep, slowly but surely going to try and build this up, and yeah, just happy to have you. So, I'll tell you what I told my old life after truth later.